That's the red house. Rents for $125 a night. This is our biggest one. And we try to do house, shotgun house. You know what a shotgun shack is? They call it a shotgun shack because you can shoot a gun right through the front. It goes right out the back. And all the little stuff is so neat we have out here. There's actually a couple of old outhouses over there. These are our smaller ones. These rent for $85 a night. And here it is. Of course, they come with DirecTV. Have to modernize, people can't get their kids out here without television. All of them got stayed in last night. The whole row was stayed in from this party we had. They rented out all of them. And we've got 4 kitchens. You can cook. Even throw a microwave in there, but we try to keep it very rustic and original. And shower and restroom in all of them. I would have to guess that there were black sharecropping families that would live in these shacks back in the 1800s and all the way up through the early 1900s. And each one of these was moved off of a plantation from some part of the Delta, some of them over in Tallahatchie County, some of them in Sunflower, and some of them right here in LaFleur County. And we just lifted them up on trucks and brought them right here to the Tallahatchie Flats. Tallahatchie Flats is just, we're right here on the Tallahatchie River, near, not too far from where Billy Joe jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. These are just shacks that we've moved out here, and we have a tavern over there that's available with a full bar to rent out and have parties in. And why stay at the Best Western when you can stay in one of these? We love it out here. Dick, James absolutely loves it out here. And we always have about 12 rows of cotton we keep planted right there. People love to see cotton. James, take us to the river. A little trail right here. And this is the Tallahatchie River. James, please. LaFleur, Tallahatchie, Sunflower, Washington, it's all the Delta. We're stuck in time, so to speak.
I see the sign. Hey. I see the sign. Hey. I see the sign.
Hey, Lord, time drawing nigh.
This sign of the judgment.
Hey.
This sign of the judgment.
Hey.
This sign of the judgment.
Hey, Lord, time drawing nigh.
Sign in the fig tree.
Hey.
Sign in the fig tree.
Hey.
Sign in the fig tree.
Hey, Lord, time drawing nigh.
Loose horse in the valley.
Hey.
Loose horse in the valley.
Hey.
Loose horse in the valley.
Hey, Lord, time drawing nigh.
Tell me who gonna ride him.
Hey.
Tell me who gonna ride him.
Hey.
Tell me who gonna ride him.
Whatever happened didn't happen here. I mean, the body was found. The sheriff then, who was at least a cousin of mine, he thought that the body was found in Tallahatchie County, and that gave Tallahatchie County the authority to act on it. He was wrong. I know, because he sent his son, who just passed away about 2 or 3 years ago. He sent his son to go get the body out of the river.
This is Sheriff Strider.
Sheriff Strider. And his son was H.C. Strider Jr. And at the request of a friend of mine who is a FBI agent, I talked with the FBI on that last reinvestigation that they had about 5 or 6 years ago. And I went and we picked up H.C. Strider, and he took us and pointed to exactly where he pulled the body out of the river. You got to understand, and this is something that most folks don't understand about the black people in the South. A black man in the South will not trust another black man in the South worth a damn. He'll trust his white buddy because he knows. Well, let's look at it this way. All right, what have the white folks built over the last 5,000 years? Everything that exists. What have the black folks built? I mean, show me the big cities of South Africa before the white man got there. I mean, that's the way it is. Rudyard Kipling called it the white man's burden.
Do you feel that sense of weight?
Been on my back all my life.
When was the first time you heard the name Emmett Till?
I was a kid. My mom, my family brought it up first, and then I heard about it in school. Like, we talked about this place, you know, where we live, and she talked about the courthouse. She talked about this county, and she talked about, you know, the past. She told me about Emmett Till just to make me aware of the fact that although, yeah, you do have the Martin Luther King stories and things of that nature as it pertains to the civil rights movement, you know, there are civil rights issues quite literally, you know, in your backyard.
So this is Benroy Service Station. So in 1955, this is kind of what Bryant's Grocery across the street would have looked like. Ben Roy's had nothing to do with Emmett Till, right? He kind of kept his store open until about the 1980s, I want to say. So it was a gas station just in this community for a long time. And Emmett Till's cousins remember coming here. They remember Mr. Ben Roy. They call him Mr. Ben Roy. And their sense was that he was a good guy, that he treated blacks decently fairly for the times, but that it wasn't, it was still segregation. It was still, there was still a difference, right? But at least Mr. Ben Roy, the kind of saying would go that he didn't kill black people, right? He wasn't of the same type of, connection as the Milams and Bryants. Trying to see what we can do about Bryant's Grocery. I'm hoping this month that we're actually going to sit down with the Tribble family. Not sure how that's going to turn out. So the Tribble family still owns it. Ray Tribble, who was on the jury in 1955, has passed away, but his wife is still alive. And the family will go back and forth with me. Sometimes they're interested in restoring it, and then sometimes they're not. Sometimes they say they want to be the ones to preserve it, and other times they tell me they want to sell it to a museum or a caretakers who can restore the building. Okay, how much do y'all really want to sell it for? But I feel like I've been in this situation before where they've said they want to do it, but then they for some reason back out, or they for some reason, even like the first time, right, they'll ask an astronomical number. And so our sense is we're going to pay fair value for it. We're not going to pay, the Till family has expressed to me specifically that they do not want to spend anything above what it's worth historically. So they just want to buy a random store in Mississippi. They're not buying a civil rights iconic structure, which if you were to try to put an appraisal on that, it would be enormous, right? It would be worth $1 million. And so they said that they think that is basically making money off of Till's memory and off of Till's death.
A sign marking the area where the body of Emmett Till was found in Mississippi was damaged by gunfire again. Images of the sign went viral in 2016 after it was riddled with more than 40 bullet holes, and it is reportedly the fourth time the historical marker has been vandalized since it was installed in 2013. The Emmett Till Interpretive Center is planning to replace it and add additional features to tell the story of Till, who was murdered by two white men for allegedly whistling at a white woman. She later recanted her story. Till was 14 and from Chicago.
So this is where the sign used to be. This is where it was stolen first. We replaced it after it was stolen when it was first put up in 2007. And then soon after we put it back up, a couple years passed, it was shot. It was to be continually shot until 2016 when we finally took it down. Someone took a picture of it and the sign went viral. It outraged so many people that we started getting people saying, how do we donate? How do we get this sign back up? And it kind of gave us hope that, okay, well, maybe we can buy the land. And so that's what we've been doing. So if you'll see kind of over here, there's these pink markers. We just had the land surveyed. It cost us, a chunk of money to get it surveyed. But we wanted to get the specific locations of what land are we talking about, so that we can approach the landowner and find out whether he will sell it to us.
Well, that courthouse was built early 1900s. The Emmett Till trial happened in '55. They did a beautiful job on it. They put it as close to 1955 as they could without some of the things, and I hope they change those back.
Do you think it's good for the county, or do you think it's good for Sumner?
I think it's good that we got the thing put back like it was. I think the tourism is probably good for the, if Patrick could figure out how to get it set up where they all eat at the grill, it would be good for the town. A bunch of us got together and raised Cain with Patrick and told him there better not be any more damn trash left in there by his tourists. Patrick Williams, the guy that worked for, went in there one day to have a hearing, and there were candy wrappers on the floor. And I know the guy that does the janitor work is a convict. He's not going to do that.
But he does a good job.
He does a good job.
It's a ex-con or?
No, he's current con. He's a trustee.
How does that work? They let him out?
That
would never happen in New York, is why I asked.
Oh,
We're talking about what happened in 1955, but the new Jim Crow, right? This system of prison labor, this system of mass incarceration is very real and alive in the Delta.
Well, you know what the Northerners would say.
What's that?
Northerners would say, well, we're the ones who spearheaded the Civil Rights Movement. We're the ones who passed the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act.
Who cares? Who cares?
A lot of this is it's a hate crime, right? It's a hate crime if you vandalize civil rights sign, especially if you do it in an overt way. You know, if they write KKK on it, or if they put a noose around it, or something like that. So that's a federal crime, and the FBI would investigate. Which is sad that you have to go to that length to protect it, but I think that would send a message to the people that are doing this. That this is the United States of America, and this is part of our history. A lot of times we want to pause right here. A lot of times we want to pause right here and say, we're about to go into a very historic space. And so if y'all don't mind just giving a couple minutes of silence as we walk in to let people absorb this space. Because it was hot. So they'll be sitting over here. We'll invite them over to this side. You know, invite them in the back. Ask them first to come just sit in these chairs. So be like, y'all come on this side, come sit in the jury seats. Come see what that feels like to sit in the jury seats. Come stand. Y'all saw the photo across the street. Come stand where Mose Wright stood so y'all can feel what it felt like for him to be able to point out. Come sit where Judge Swango sat. Come sit where the defense lawyers would have sat. Come sit where the two men who murdered Emmett Till, come sit where they sat. Come over here to the prosecution. Come sit where the prosecution sat. Come over to where Mamie Till and the black reporters and the black congressmen sat. Come over here to kind of feel what it would have been like to be so far removed from all of the action. So we always need to be prepared. You know, if you want to point out to them this law firm, right? So that's the Wooden and Breland law firm. Those are two of the defense lawyers. Mm-hmm. That's also where the confession was given. So after they got off not guilty, they came over there 4 months later with a reporter from the North, and they were able to legally give a confession without allowing them to go back to jail, and receive $4,000.
You get $4,000?
They did. It's kind of like Trayvon Martin's killer. Mm-hmm. He sold his gun on eBay. I don't know how much money he made, but he made money off of that murder directly.
What did your father say to you about it?
Not a whole lot. A lot of what he told me was what he'd already watched and saw, and you know, he just said it was a tough thing, and it was a hard thing to try. But on the other hand, the burden is on the state.
Y'all are welcoming them, but also welcome yourself into this experience, right? Like, y'all don't have to sit back and like act cool. Like, go up, shake somebody's hand, say, "Welcome to Sumner, welcome to West Valley. Where y'all from?" Like, get off, like, have side conversations. Make them feel like they're coming to their grandma's house, right? Make them feel like, unless you got a mean grandma, like your nice grandma on your dad's side, you know, like that grandma. So.
Hey, how much time y'all looking at? About 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Great. Hello, folks. Now, can anyone tell me what this is? Anyone? Confederate statue, okay. Did anyone know who won the Civil War?
So we like to start here because this gives you a reference of, right? So we think about the Civil War as everything's fine, right? North won, slaves are free, we can all go home, right? And as y'all pointed out, that didn't end, right? That system of oppression just changed. And so we start here at the Confederate statue to show that while the North might have won the Civil War, culturally the South stayed the same.
I think a lot of what they tell them is a load of crap. They tell them all about a black kid from a dysfunctional family who comes down here to get out of Chicago because the police are after him in Chicago, whose daddy was such a loving citizen of the world that he was executed by the U.S. Army for rape and murder of Italian women. I mean, we're looking at a delightful child here.
The history builds upon itself, and nothing happens in a vacuum. The reason Emmett Till came down was in part to pick cotton. And the same society that existed in the 1830s had evolved by the time it hit 1955. So it's not like white supremacy is gone. It's not like that same type of lifestyle, that type of interactions ended when slavery ended. It just morphed into a different system.
So he was like, before we go in, I just want y'all to just like take a deep breath and let it sink in that we're about to go into a historical mark and just try to give a moment of silence and respect before we finally go in.
You got to remember, we're talking about 1955. Right. I was 7 years old. That's why I get so frustrated about this whole Emmett Till situation. There wasn't a hate thing here. A lot of it came down with the folks from New York when they came and investigated. They wrote just like Trump says, they wrote every backward slant that they could.
Shoot. Tallahatchie County Court, they just remodeled this thing here. This motherfucker here still looks like a hanging gallery. When I first moved back down here in 09, all this wasn't here. They just redid this. It still had the little, man, I wish you should have came down here early. They just remodeled this thing within the last 2 years. The trees is not there no more because the wind will blow them down. But there's one still standing. They used to, back in the days, way back in the days, before I even thought of, I guess, they just call this the hanging block. This right here. They had trees, they done cut a bunch of them down. But they used to call this a hanging block. You get in trouble, especially a black person, get in trouble, they'll bring them up here, kill them to trial, bam, hang them right there on the spot. Back then, they only had 3. And then you, your accuser, and the judge. That's it.
In a tree waiting outside.
In a tree waiting outside. So wherever the victim say, wherever the victim say, it was over with. They law were different from different peoples. So the law for white peoples were different from black peoples. Because if a black person kills somebody, and then hey, there they go. But if a white person kills somebody, it was a little bit different. Because they go to trial, well, not guilty. Like Emmet Tibbs. You heard about Emmet Tibbs, have you?
Emmett Till?
Emmet Tibbs.
Tell me about it.
The one that they say he whistled a white lady and they killed him down in the Delta. Okay, well, he was my cousin. I'm gonna let you know about that. He was my cousin. Come find out, he ain't whistled the lady. She finally came true. After what, 60-some years, almost? So that man died for nothing.
Teenager.
A teenager, come from to visit his grandmom and stuff. He was my cousin. My mom was his first cousin, and he was my second cousin. Yeah. You always gonna have racists in this world. I don't care what you do or what you say. You're gonna have racists, you're gonna have bigotry. They're always gonna be here because you still got some old ones still living. They don't wear the sheets and the shoes no more, but they still here. You know what I mean? It ain't that no idea that the world gonna ever change, no matter what color president we get, how many presidents we get, or who the president is. The world ain't gonna change. What changed the world is the peoples. So once the people change, then the world will change. If the people never change, the world never change. Right there.
Can you walk me over to him?
Yeah, come on. Yeah, get on here. This is James Evan Whiteness. You already see who he is, don't you? He's the United States. Now, hey, this man here, I don't even know who he is. But by me going to school and taking about history, I know who he is. I already know who he was. He was in the Republic, that's for sure.
Can I tell you a funny little, maybe funny is the wrong word, a little coincidence?
Talk to me.
The people who killed your second cousin,
Yeah,
the lawyer who got them off,
yeah,
was also a Whitney, John Whitney.
I know.
Well, put it this way. You've got to believe in history. Those who refuse to look at history are going to end up having to repeat it.
Was that white supremacy something that touched your life as a child growing up? I mean, how did you learn about that?
It's growing up.
Do you have a memory of the first instance when maybe your folks said something or you experienced it firsthand that sticks with you?
Well, yeah, because my first girlfriend was white. Yeah, it was back in like 72, 73. And I got seen with her, and my mom said, well, you got to go because they're going to hang you. And I said, why would they want to hang me? Because I'm going with a white girl, you know? She said, well, they don't do that. I said, who don't do that? Peoples don't do that. I said, Mom, this is different. You know, me and her go to school together. We're in the same class. So her dad came and talked to my mom and said, hey, if you don't leave my daughter alone, I'm going to hang you to the black ass. So I had to leave her alone. So I went through a little shit too now. Don't get me wrong. I went through a little shit.
So that's how your first breakup happened?
That's how my first breakup was, don't deal with white folks at all. That's what came across my mind. Do not deal with white folks, because if you do, you're dead.
We were one of the few families in town that had a second vehicle. And actually it was an old Jeep that Daddy used for hunting. And since he was an attorney, he had to present himself well, so he took the car to work every day. And Mama used the Jeep to go to the post office and go get groceries. And I remember having to slow down and cross those big around as my wrist then, cables coming from the generators that ran the television cameras, and they snaked them across the road, and you had to slow down or they'd bounce the fillings out of your teeth. Most of it's not with sound. And that's the sheriff.
Sheriff Strider?
Strider. And that's Judge Breland and Cindy Carlton and my daddy. I think that's boy's mama.
I'd like for the NAACP or any colored organization anywhere to know that we are here giving all parties a free trial and intend to give a fair and impartial trial. And we don't need the help of the NAACP, and we don't intend for them to help us. Now, we have been interfered long enough, and if they think they can come down and take over, we'll be glad at any time, but I would like for them to stay and tend to their business and let Tallahatchie County run their business.
Does it give you any, I don't know, sentimentality to see your father and on the cameras like that, to watch it? Does it bring back memories of your
Look
daddy?
just like, yeah, brings up memories of my daddy. I've got a picture of him in the house on the wall. I always refer to as fearless leader. He's just he's a good guy. He's a hard worker. He's a damn good lawyer. He did a good job. He did what he was employed to do, what he was paid to do by the county. He made them prove it. And it's very hard to prove that something that didn't happen in this county happened in this county. That's something that we don't know if it really happened or not. Even happened.
For the rest of the world, it's a different time and a different place. For you, it's right down the street, and it's your pops, and it's people you know, and it's
yeah.
What do you feel watching?
I think he did right, and I got criticized for it.
Were you working out of your father's office?
Well, it's my office now. Daddy joined J.J. Breland after he got out of the war. After Daddy got out of the war, and they built that office there together.
Did you become a lawyer to follow in your father's footsteps?
No, I became a lawyer because I thought I'd like it. And I did, and I do, but I'm burned out. I literally get tired of everybody else's problems. So, anyway.
Emmett Till's story ended and where it also began, right? Because had the body not come out of the river, we would have never known about Emmett Till. They are advised by the sheriff and the local officials that they need to bury the body immediately. And so right out here, they come, they start digging a hole, they're getting ready to bury it, and then that's when they get a call from the governor of Mississippi. And the mayor of Chicago has reached out to Governor White and said, stop the burial, we want the body to come up to Chicago. Had Mamie not broadened the body up to Chicago, had an open casket, none of this would have happened, right? There would have been no outrage, there would have been no outcry, there would have been not even an attempt at justice.
So how does the race thing play out here now in the Delta? Because I mean, obviously,
no problem. We don't have any problem. I don't think it's as bad as people think it is. I don't know. One of the last racial problems you had. I know most of these black folks around here. I'm not scared of them. They may be scared of me.
thought it was over in Mississippi, you know, but it's
He
still
black.
racist down here. But
He
we ain't
black.
like that though, you know. Like they see us with a white girl, they swear we selling dope, and we don't even do that. I don't know why.
Just like man, we got our own kind. They treat the white people better than us. Our own kind treat the white people better than us, man. Better than their own
If
kind.
we stand outside a little group, police come through and tell us break it up, they think we doing something. But we just trying to work, you know.
Like now, how they just,
You
how
see
he
how he
just
just
seen the
stopped?
black with the white, how he stopped like
He
that.
think
and
we serving y'all some drugs. That's what he do.
the state trooper just,
And watch he
the
gonna
state
come
trooper-
back.
the state trooper just rolled through and went slow.
Watch he gonna come back through. He
See
gonna-
white people.
They swear we doing something illegal.
Let me ask you this.
All that fairy tale, all that Martin Luther King, the civil rights, and all that slavery roll with, they segregate the shit. That is out the picture. It's still segregated.
then when
It's
we
still
work for
segregated.
them,
When you
they
go
try-
across that road right there, we still segregated. They will split us up. This road right here.
Black and white side.
That's
They
how
got
I-
their own store, and we got our own store. So I don't know.
Do you think segregation ever ended in the Delta?
Never ended.
Never.
It's silent. It's in
It's
silence.
silent.
It's in silence. You know what I'm saying? It's in silence. You don't get it.
We can't go over there after dark, or the police gonna think we stealing or something from them.
If we even get in y'all back seat, you might
Oh,
get pulled over.
You gonna get pulled over. Then they see y'all with the camera.
And he'll find some, your tail lights went on.
So that's how they do down here, though. He'll do that. Look how regular this stuff is, man. Look, we gotta bring our kids outside too. This stuff right here. Look at all this trash. Dead dogs over there and everything. It ain't right though, man. That's sad though, for real. That's sad, for real, man. We can't even sit in there. We can't do nothing there. I don't know what's going on. This is what we wake up to every day. This dirty town. See, like in March, they got two split schools. They got the private school for the white people, and they got the regular school for the blacks. No white people go to the Quincy County school, but on the white people side, they go to the private school. They split up.
They never got over that mentality.
I'm gonna tell you what it is, cause you still got so many
never
people
let it
crying
go.
right now.
They
You'll see
never
they
let that
tattoos on them. They still, I'm telling you, they still in the clan. The older white people, the older.
And the flags.
They still got their
What's the
flag.
flag?
Oh, you ride through there, you'll see their flags.
I can show you a flag right now on a white person truck at the store right now. I can show you a flag. I can show you a rebel flag right now on the
Right now.
truck.
Oh, you walk on the property.
I can show you right now. Now you know what that rebel flag means.
Rebel flags all on the other side, hanging in the house.
What does a rebel flag mean to you?
Klan.
Klan.
I'm saying that the segregation, I thought about a colleague that came from South Africa and served in the Mississippi Delta for 4 years. He was, in the United Methodist Church, and it blew his mind. He come from South Africa, and he talked about apartheid, and when he came to Mississippi, he was amazed that we had so much segregation. It shocked him. He knew about Dr. King and the history, and he was sharing his experience with Bishop Tutu and Nelson McDonough and Mandela, and he said, man, when
Was there ever an effort to integrate the church? Is that
not really. It was predominantly a white community, and it just white moved out, blacks moved in, but the church still here. Some black people they're afraid to even attend a white church. Some of them, I don't know what the word afraid, but they don't feel welcome or whatever. But I made it clear they were welcome to stay here if they wanted to.
So Mose Wright was a preacher. This is where his church would have been in 1955. And a lot of people, local people, just called him preacher.
That's the way it was back then. They could kill a black person and nothing ever be done about it. Everybody focused on Emmett Till, but there are other incidents, other cases, where people lost their lives because they spoke up or bucked a white man or kind of stuff happened, you know. And that kept everybody from speaking up and, you know, because they didn't want that to happen to them.
When we first got rid of all that conservative stuff, folks would come out here and take pot shots at my antennas. We had a couple of the tower lights that were shot out. They'd kick in the door and do different things like that. But, you know, we prevail, and we're still here, and it's almost 10 years later.
They just take pot shots?
Yeah, just took pot shots at it. I mean, sometimes we'd go downtown, come back, the lights would be shot out. We had our engineer get up there, replace them a couple of times, and then they just left us alone after that. And then I started telling them on the air. I said, hey, look, man, somebody's going to get hurt out here. You come out. And we actually broadcast it on the radio. We talk like that on the radio. It's straight talk. It's, hey, you shot my tower lights out. Why'd you do that? What'd I do to you? That's stupid. If I catch you and have you thrown in jail, is it worth it? See, we talk to them like that on the air. We've got the instrument. The hard part was over after I made the announcement on the air. It was like, hey guys, don't do that. Somebody's going to get hurt. And I would guess a couple of nights later, they drove by, saw me out here with a shotgun on my shoulder, and they decided, well, I guess that guy is for real. So they bugged off, and that was the end of that. After that, everybody has been sort of, they've been sort of tolerant. It's like, oh, that's just Poe, that kind of thing. And that works for me.
See, this used to be the cotton capital of the world. Cotton capital of the world now. All of that, those fields was nothing but cotton. People made their money. And they had somebody to pick, they needed somebody to pick the cotton. They didn't have all these cotton pickers. They didn't have them. So they had to use people, slaves. And when you come down the street there, you see those little white houses. The workers used to stay in those houses. It used to be more than that. It used to be plenty of those little houses lined up on each side of the road. And people used to stay in there. Mostly, I'll say 99.9% of the black people, they the one worked on the farm. You stand at the end of the road, it seemed like those roads were a mile long. And you could see what they call heat monkeys. Heat monkeys. If you stand right here and you look down that road, those little things was jumping. Those are what you call heat monkeys. And they was paying $2.50 a day. Sun up, you had to be in the field. Sundown, you come out of the field. And you made $2.50 per day. And you had mules. The water boy, he rode the mule. And he had a water pail with a little cup. All of us drank out that same cup. And you had the commissary. It was one on this plantation. You could get a bologna sandwich or a cheese sandwich for 25 cents. A pop would cost you 6 cents. But rent was $6 a week. Lights were less than $100. And it was, to us, it was the good old days. And when I think about it and talk about it, it kind of touches you. You know, when you think about how far we've come by the grace of God. It's been a struggle then, and it's a struggle now. It was hell. It was pure hell. But a lot of these youngsters, they don't know nothing about that. Elderly people caught pure hell. But thank God, it's a little bit better. all these woods around Greenwood, Mississippi. The land is posted. I talked to some, this was an ex-law enforcement officer. And law enforcement officers, they have access to places that the ordinary people don't have. He said, shoot, doctor, you will be surprised at what is going on in these areas that's posted. They said these people got some ammunition out there. And they practice for that day that they feel like coming. See, life repeats itself. They're talking about civil war.
So this is what cotton looks like after about a 3-inch rain. When it was hand picked, you pick it out of the bowl. So each of these is a lock. So that's a bowl, and it's made up of 4 locks. That one is. You feel the hard stuff in there?
Yeah.
So that's a seed. Can you imagine picking that by hand? Like walking through here with a sack and getting all of the cotton out of here. How many people it would take, how intensive the labor would be, how long it would take. I mean, pull that seed loose. Like how long it would take to do that by hand, right? It's biology, it's zoology, it's chemistry, world politics, national economy, international economy, commodity markets, technology.
They confuse your passion for this work.
Well, they confuse, dirt under your fingernails and on your clothes for not much in your head.
Right here, pull off right there. See where that turn at?
Yep.
Right there. That's the turn. This little turn right here. This the pole. The house used to sit right in front of this pole. Shotgun house. It was a straight house. Straight across. Come up here, you pull here, get out the car, you can walk straight in the house and go straight through. It's called a shotgun house. If we get lucky, we go up through there, we might see one. We might. I'm not gonna say we will, but we might. You have callus in your hand, callus in these hands, it'd be callus. From chopping. Oh, that probably was one of the Murphy boys.
How you doing,
Hey.
sir? Doing pretty good. Is everything all right?
Yes,
Oh,
sir. Yeah. I'm a Beauclair. I'm just doing a little document on where I was born and raised.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We didn't know what was going on.
You Lace's son? You Lace's son?
That's me.
Oh, well.
I just wondered. He wanted me to ask you what was going on. Ain't no
Oh, well,
big
just
deal.
tell him Rob Bo. He'll know.
Yeah, I know you Beauclair. You live right over yonder.
That's the family right there. That's the Murphys. Yeah, that's the Murphys. The son took over. All the old coon is gone. Now the young coon took over. He know I know who he is because I know his dad. I was raised up with his daddy. My mom raised his daddy, Lacey. And he lived right there. My mom raised him as with us. She used to walk around with one white kid in his hand, a black kid in his hand. Yeah. Had hers in one hand and had one of them in the other hand.
And yet,
Huh?
still all his hate, even though that.
It's still all this hate. It's still all this hate. And that's something I don't think you ever get rid of based on the fact because, hey, the hate was back then when they got rid of Jesus Christ. That's where the hate started from because they killed the man for no reason at all. So that brought all that hate back this way.
We've never had a Ku Klux Klan here. Never been a Ku Klux Klan in the Delta. They tried to set one up in Greenville back, in the 30s, I guess. And the local farmers got together and ran them out. I mean, they were going to lynch them.
They don't want their.
They don't want anybody.
They don't want
Look,
their farm labor being hurt.
when it is so hard to make a living, and you rely on these folks, and these folks rely on you, you don't want anybody messing with them. our folks get along.
This is the Emmett Till Interpretive Center. It helps a lot of kids come here and they do activities and they learn. And it used to be a grocery store. Closed it down. It's a little country town, kind of like Mayberry. This used to be the old barber shop.
Closed too?
Yeah, it closed. It's been closed for years. They watching us over there, y'all. Whitten. Sonny Whitten's office.
What does it mean to you to be the first black business owner in this town?
Oh, I'm proud. Very proud. I wish my mother was here so she could see it. Because back in her day, she wouldn't be able to own anything up here on this square.
She said, Miss Whitten, you're not going to sell any of the land you got next to us, are you? Let me give you a translation. You're not going to sell any of that land next to you to these damn niggers around here, are you? No. You can rest assured in your security at your home.
The first black person to own property on Courtyard Square. But we didn't go on the road. We just did like our parents told us. They said, don't go the Money Road. It was dangerous. You get chased by white people, white guys, and they run you off the road and different stuff like that back then. So we didn't go on Money Road. We just didn't.
So the Emmett Till store was like a cautionary tale?
Yeah. Growing up as a kid, I remember working. I worked in the field. I chopped cotton. We were poor. We didn't realize how poor we were. We were brought up separate. And it just remains that way.
We don't want the federal people to tell us how to run our business. We don't want the state people to tell us how to run our business. We want to run the free state of Tallahatchie and just let the rest of them go to hell. If we want your help, we will invite you to come. Leave us alone. We aren't having any problems. And it's this thing with Emmett Till, that wasn't our problem. This was somewhere else. Why do we have their people sniffing in our underwear drawer? I agree with it. Free state of Tallahatchie. Let's run our business. Let them run theirs.
Oh, you can't park there?
Well, like you about in time, man.
You can't park there?
Oh, that's why I'm gonna park and walk on now, so in case anything happens, I can still get my truck.
All right, you got your pistol?
Yeah.
All right.
Got it right there on the seat.
All right, I appreciate that.
All right.
I think we can park on up if you want to.
Oh no, I'll be on up.
All right, sounds good, John. So that's a co-chairman of our commission, of the Emmett Till Commission, John Wiltshire. And anytime there's an event, he brings a loaded pistol. Just in case something happens, just in case somebody comes by, he brings a loaded pistol so that he can protect us.
Well, what we gotta do?
Good to see you, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, pleased to meet you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so we're going to get started.
All right.
Okay, and they said that you would be willing to make a few remarks.
I'll follow your lead.
Oh, okay, okay.
Or
Again, welcome to the rededication ceremony. I'm delighted to see all of you. Today is Emmett's birthday. Today, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Emmett. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. All right, all right.
We said that racial reconciliation begins by telling the truth. We need to understand the system of racism that allowed this to happen. And so we've restored our courthouse back to the way it looked in 1955 and have supported projects like this and others that have happened. William Faulkner said, what frightened two men so much in 1955 that they were afraid for their lives, that they had to destroy Emmett. What were they scared of so badly? Today we ask ourselves the same question. What scared these men or these women who vandalized this marker? What are we scared of? So today we say proudly that we are going to create a new narrative for our community, for Mississippi, and it includes telling the truth. It includes understanding this system so that we can be proud of being Mississippians. We can be proud of our story. To see that building where literally the spark of the civil rights movement, we can point to how this incident at that store galvanized a generation, galvanized an entire society to make change. And yet this building is falling in on itself, and it has to be saved.
I figure if all the black people was to get together and sit down and talk about the past, the present, and the future, hey, I think we might be able to get a little place. Even though we done had a black president, it didn't make no very, very big change. It made a little change. You know, they scared. I ain't getting no TV saying that there. Them white folks see me on TV talking about them. Damn them white folks. Shit. Hell, they talk about you all your life. Now, this is your chance to get back. Shit. Now you got something called your constitutional rights. You don't even want to use it now. Back then, when you didn't have no constitutional right, you had it, but you didn't know you had it. So now, hey, you got the right to do whatever you want to do to get revenge or get even. Talk about them. Talk about how the hell they did. Shit, talk about what they did. It wasn't right. Back then, hey, I think they were killing more people than God was, really. Shit. Hell, in my opinion, hell, you should love black people. Shit, we built what you got. So you should love us. Hell, we took all the ass whooping from you, and you're still living. But now things done change over. We got our rights. Now you want to hate us. Call us all kind of coons and monkeys and baboons and shit like that. I don't. Shit. Whew. Like I said, about 12, 13, maybe. It's been a while. I don't want them hillbilly to put old double barrel out and have me stressed out going up through here. What that nigga doing on my property?
Make you think about your cousin at all?
Oh yeah, shit yeah. You know, they got it up there. Yep. I ain't never even been this far back here. But I went through. I think we stopped here one time when I bought popping chips. That's the only time I ever been in the store. I'm scared a little bit. Don't wanna drive by and hit me behind the head with a brick. God, you'll be amazed. These little towns like this, how many clans still live in it? And they still live in it. They just want to trying to keep everything under the shade. But they can't, because the sun gonna have to shine on their ass one day. Trust me, the sun gonna have to shine on that ass.
And so my sense for them, and it's similar to Sumner, where the trial happened, nobody wanted to talk about it. In the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, in the 90s, hardly anybody would even mention it. And the hope was that if we don't talk about it, it'll go away. That people will forget this story and we don't have to talk about it. You have a similar situation going on here with the Bryant's grocery. They thought it would die. We'll just let this thing kind of crumble in on itself. We don't even have to tear it down. It'll just go away. But as more young black people started getting killed, starting with Trayvon Martin, the story of Emmett Till has started to reemerge as this narrative that young black bodies are still not safe. They weren't safe in 55 when Till was killed, and they're not safe today. And so there's even a more stronger impetus to tell this story of Till, to preserve that memory, because it's not a new situation that we're dealing with. It's one that we've never taken care of. You gotta check this out. So Go Mississippi was a Mississippi state song, but it started from a song that Ross Barnett set up, and it was pretty much his campaign slogan. But Ross Barnett was one of the most racist governors we've ever had, and basically he won by saying he was going to be more racist than any other candidate. And so they took his song from his campaign and turned it into Go Mississippi. So I remember singing that as a kid.
The jurors were supposed to be distant relatives and family members of Milan and Bryant from the other side of the county. And to think about how this played out for a 14-year-old boy to be removed from his grandparents and his uncles, from his people's house and everything, and never to be seen again, and for the saga to go on for days right up under the people of the community's face, it still can evict a lot of emotion. Well, you have it within our own circles, you know. I work with a young, a white woman, and I know that those seeds are still alive from the conversations that I have with her. She tells me it's her father's way of thinking, but then when I hear you sometimes, it's you too, baby. It's you too, you know, because she has this kind of superior mentality, and she throws these little key words out sometimes, but she talks about how her father disowns and disapproves of her sons having a relationship with a young black girl. And we're talking 2017.
You could sense that there was still, while relationships were nice, you could still say there's a difference between black customers and white customers, or what white people would say in the store after black people left, right? And even as a kid, you know, you're not sure what you're picking up on, but you're picking up on something. And then that's something, right, was white supremacy, right? And whether my family would call it that, I don't think they would call it that.
What would they call it?
Nothing. For my parents' generation, they were born in the 50s, right, the 1950s. And so they were kids during the civil rights movement, and they ignored it. Their parents tried to ignore it, and they weren't taught anything about history. So they didn't know that there was mass lynchings in Mississippi. They didn't know, they kind of knew who Medgar Evers was, but didn't really have a sense of what he went through, right? And so we talk about it even in Sumner, that there was a cultural amnesia. After the Till trial, nobody talked about it. I think that's when we don't know our history, we make up myths.
They didn't have GPS back then. All they had was a dead nigger floating down the river.
Not even just stop there, but how do we start to change the institutions that are still the systems of that Jim Crow era, right? A black woman with a black woman with a college degree in Mississippi makes the same amount of money as a white man without a high school degree, right? We have completely systematically a racist structure that still exists in Mississippi. How do we start to change that institutionally?
This is the Sheridan Plantation. This is the site of where we think that Emmett lost his life. This is where they brought him to. This is the barn. They tell me that night that there was more than Mylan and Bryant out here. There was many horses and trucks and vehicles out here. I understand that they were probably liquored up, okay, and that they had no valid reason to even come and talk to Emmett. That's something that puzzles me, is what made you leave home with your family, your little boys, your wives, your women, and go out and pull a young boy out of his bed to talk to him about what? About whistling? About whistling at a woman? I can't understand that mentality to get to the point of that you're going to come to a house at 12, 1 o'clock at night and remove somebody, and then you go to beating on them, except for the mindset of the prejudice of the, the nigger and the white person's role. But then how does that go into, it had to be 5-6 hours worth of terrorizing a 14-year-old child and then him losing his life? I can't understand that journey. Just can't understand it. I know that it happened, and I know that it was really, really real for Emmett and Mamie, and it's still really real for me. But I can't conceptualize how you can do this over a whistle. Give me a break. If it had been one of those other things where the woman cried rape, it can kind of go along with somebody getting hopped up, you violated and you've taken something. But all he did was whistle.
And he didn't even do that.
He whistled.
What do you think about that? Because I know Wheeler says he whistled.
Yeah.
But then Carolyn Bryant says he did.
Why would I listen to Carolyn Bryant saying anything at this particular point? What could she couldn't tell me nothing. I'm just saying me. I'm sorry.
I shot it with my GPS, and I think the FBI guy had one too. And I went back and triangulated it, and on a map, it was over in LaFleur County. They could not get an indictment in LaFleur County. The people had no connection with it, and they thought it was horrible. On the other hand, to convict somebody in County A of a murder which either happened in County B, C, or D, it may not have happened at all.
That's Sheriff Strider.
And so Sheriff Strider brings the body onto the Tallahatchie County side. We later find out that he kidnaps 2 black witnesses and houses them in the jail in Charleston, Mississippi, about 20 miles from Sumner, puts them under a completely different alias. We wouldn't have known about it had it not been for the work of black journalists and people like Medgar Evers and the NAACP.
Here, a young woman revealed to Hicks the real name of Leroy Too Tight Collins, as well as Henry Lee Loggins, alleged witnesses in the Till trial, who had been incarcerated in Charleston's jail under the false names and false charges.
So that information is found out kind of after the trial.
And what was the point? And he put him in Charleston himself? He put him in a jail cell?
Yeah, so he put 2 black men.
They weren't suspects, they were just witnesses? Or?
Yeah, 2 black witnesses who were involved in the murder, right? Who were either drivers the night of or who had to be in the back of the truck with Emmett Till. And so they were directly involved and were then put in jail. And so them being in jail prevented them from even having the opportunity to testify against Milam Bryant, his friends and brothers. For Milam and Bryant and their brothers and friends to involve two black men in the murder, I think it just shows how the audacity, right? We can do whatever we want. We can force these two black men to be in the truck, to be drivers. We're beyond reproach, and it's an arrogance. It's a sickness, right?
Because it also means they're confident enough that these two will never say a word.
Confident enough that the black men won't say anything.
Or be too scared to.
That they have that much power and control, even as poor whites, right? They're not plantation owners, right? Who really have the power. They just happen to be white, and so they have that type of power and control over black community members who aren't citizens, who can't vote, who don't have any power.
We have this building with his name on it that is struggling and has got to come up with these funds. Everything that goes on here in and around this courthouse is generally for the Caucasians. Okay, the black people really don't participate in a lot of things that's going on. I think that the Emmett Till Commission should be doing grants and scholarships to, even if it's just to buy books, okay, for a person that's trying to go to Delta State or going to Valley or wherever they're trying to go. I think that that's more hands-on and more reaching out to my people. Just plain and simple. It might die out with my generation, my husband's generation. It might die out because they're the ones that I'm seeing it. The young people don't see it that way, but they walk a different line. It's not overtly saying that you have to respect Mr. So-and-so, or you can't go, but yet and still, they don't cross that track after 6 o'clock, okay? They don't hang out over here after dark.
Do you feel a bit of that building sits as sort of like a metaphor? The fact that it's just sitting there idle?
Yeah.
How does it make you feel?
Not good. I'm very passionate about it. I'll put it like this. I think it was the year before last. They had a back to school festival, and what strikes me the most about it, the black children were sitting on the side of the curb outside while the white children were riding their bikes and playing and having a good time. As it got to be dark, there was a band playing on the square down here, and we had a black chorus over there. When they got through, they started coming in and they started moving the tables. We had to get up. They started putting tablecloths on the tables and putting reserve signs on them and everything. And then when I looked, the black people were migrating out of Sumner and the white people were migrating in. So now you tell me.
Sometimes fortune favors us.
really a place for the youth of the community, for Emmet, and to make a difference. I've always wanted to make a difference with this building. This is my pet project in this building. It's almost like Tallahatchie County has an east side, a west side, and Strider. You can't get away from the east side, west side thing, and the Strider thing is right there too, because there's no blacks that go to Strider Academy. I heard they had one, and he was like the son of a president of a bank. So, and I used to always question, why isn't Tallahatchie County on there talking about opening up jobs, 200-300 jobs? Even this building will just maybe 25 workers, maybe. What is left, there's really no farm work because your cotton picker, your equipment handles everything, handles the cotton all the way until they roll it up like a roll of tissue, roll a piece of plastic around it, and set it down.
These folks have no home. They have no lineage. They have no ancestry.
No history.
No history. Because they couldn't write and didn't want to learn.
When did you start feeling that come to the surface, this new animosity?
I mean, I think within the last decade. You know, I didn't feel that at all in my 20s. And I live between Oxford and here, and I just didn't. And maybe I was oblivious to it, you know, but I didn't feel it. I didn't see it, but more recently I recognize it. I hear people talk about it, you know.
There's nothing
you get on social media and it's everywhere, but you disconnect from that for a minute and go out and actually have person-to-person relationships, and you hear people and you're like, oh my God, you know, we need to be careful. We need to take a step back.
There's nothing you can point to
specifically.
Some people, I guess, they just don't want to relive it or go through it and just vandalize it, you know. It's not so open like it was back in 1955, but it's the same perspective, matter of the way that they are doing it now. It's no different now. For a long time, they were just afraid, you know, due to the way the whites was, you know, treating them around this area, and after that had happened and everything. I had more fear than I did. I guess I didn't know any better, but they had more fear than I did when I was growing up about it there. To me? Oh, everywhere I go, I carry my gun. I carry my 357 everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I'm on. I carry it. Correct. Wow. But I'm not afraid, you know, of anything or what's going to happen. But if something do happen, I'm prepared. You know, I'm ready for it.
And the fact that you're outspoken,
correct. You know, and they know I tell it like it is. The whites know. I'm not going to bite my tongue or anything. Now, they know I'm going to do it. That's right.
Therefore, you have your 357.
I'm going to keep myself together all the time. That's right. This is the little peacemaker. That's the peacemaker. The 357, that's the peacemaker. Keeps it right there by my side.
So what else are we doing today? It's Till's birthday, but it's also what? Yeah, so the rededication of the Bryant's Grocery Freedom Marker. Yeah.
So why are they fixing all of them?
We're waiting till we redesign the historical markers. So the ones that we put out We're hoping to redesign and put out 10 new markers once we get extra funding. So what do y'all think that means, the idea that we put it back up?
We ain't gonna let them win. Like whoever did it, the hateful person, they ain't gonna win. Cause you tear it down, you're gonna put it back up. So.
What do you think, Ty?
Same. Okay, we gotta keep fighting for it. It's justice, type of stuff.
You think this is part of justice?
In a way.
They ain't like it. We leave it down, they ain't gonna stop. Cause they gonna feel like, okay, they ain't put that one back up, finna destroy something else, they ain't gonna put that back up. Then it's just gonna escalate, I think.
We'll see. We'll see if they come back and vandalize it. What do y'all think? Do you think somebody's gonna come back and vandalize it?
Hey Patrick, can I ask one quick question on the note about the sign getting vandalized?
Yeah.
Since you guys have lived here, have you ever known the Confederate statue to be vandalized?
No. Not once. Not yet. They never will.
And so this little patch right here is public, right? A little right of way. So we were able to put the sign up. And then that's his farmland. But the guy owns this land as well, right by the river, to a certain point, and then it becomes public again against the river. And so we just wanted to kind of say specifically, look, we just want this little strip. We don't want any of your farmland. We just want the site where Till's body was finally removed from the river. And we're hoping he'll have goodwill and sell it to us. Racial reconciliation begins by telling the truth. And we need to mark these sites. We need to tell the truth so that people will know what happened at this place, right? Otherwise, you come by and you don't even know that this is where one of the most infamous stories in American history happened. So local people raised the money, not the national government, not the state government, local citizens, and put this sign up. Then it was vandalized, then it was shot up. And so myself and another young African-American staff person, Benjamin Salisbury, he and I came out here together, sawed it off because it had gotten so much notoriety that we were afraid that someone might come out here and steal it or might take it. So yeah, so for the longest time, the shot up sign and now these kind of just poles are their own markers, right? They're markers of struggle. And the struggle to remember.
We're in Tallahatchie County. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this question. What is this Free State of Tallahatchie thing I hear people talk about?
A man who was my grandmother's best friend growing up. The man who was from Oakland, which is right across the line in Yalobusha County, he talked about that. I didn't even ask him. It just came up.
He talked about what?
About the Free State of Tallahatchie. And he said, you know, all of my life I wished I was from Tallahatchie County. He said, I was right across the line. I almost made it, but I just didn't quite. And I said, well, you know, why is that? And he said, because people were just freer over there. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, they kind of did what they wanted to do, and you know, the county law and the sheriff kind of ran the county. And he said, I remember reading in Time magazine in I think he said in the 40s that there were 3 places federal law couldn't touch in the United States. One was in Daly, Chicago, one was in Crumps, Shelby County, Tennessee, which is Memphis, and the other was in Tallahatchie County, Mississippi, like Sheriff Dogan's Tallahatchie County. And for a long time we had sheriffs here who just they considered themselves free of the federal government. I've heard before that the county of Tallahatchie seceded from the Union before the state of Mississippi did. You hear that a lot. I don't think it's true. I've actually looked for it. Like, I've done the research and looked it up. I've never found any evidence of it. So I don't think it's true. I think that's something that just got made up over time.
But do you think the fact that the myth is there says something about Tallahatchie County?
Yeah.
What do you think it says?
I think it says that's how they consider themselves. Free from the federal government.
What is all this this free state of Tallahatchie stuff?
I don't know.
You ever heard that phrase?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Heard of what?
I'm not very sure about exactly what that means, but I think that it means the Confederacy.
What?
Okay. The Free State of Tallahatchie means Ku Klux. I associate it with Ku Klux Klan and Confederacy. Okay, I don't know a whole lot about it. I think that it used to be on the license plates or something like that. And I think that it is a trick word to announce, just like Mason or something like that. But I don't know too much about that. Okay.
I kind of think you're right. And it just alarmed me to know that that was on that bumper sticker was on a car of someone who was a judge and county prosecutor.
And I know who you're talking about. Yeah. And he's been the county attorney too. Okay. And he has tanks and stuff in his yard too. And I think that they still have a organization or a group.
Of course, that's just an M15 Jeep. And let's see. This one, we've got a fuel leak in it I've got to find. But it takes a driver and an observer or a gunner and 8 men.
Where do you get stuff like that?
Does it bother you that everybody else in history doesn't think about your father as a patriotic American who fought for his country and just concentrates on this till stuff?
It doesn't bother me at all. I consider it a source.
What do you mean?
I mean, who are these people? They're nobody. I mean, if they were laying out in the yard out there, I'd probably go shit on them. They're nothing. I mean, they have, what do they have for a backbone? Nothing. What do they have for their family? Nothing. What do they have to show that their existence is worth anything? Nothing. Fuck them. Feed them fish heads.
They like fish heads in Liberia.
They need to go to Liberia because Liberia would teach them some humility. I have a feeling that the black folks in Liberia are probably pretty damn good people.
I don't know if there's a question in there or not.
Yeah, it's a contested story. It's this story of that we really have done a good job of forgetting. Right, not too long ago, the state representative from this area made a comment about lynching, made a public comment about lynching, and said that people who didn't support a bill or who supported a stance, they should be lynched. It was a white man who represents Money, Mississippi, and he obviously had no sense of history to realize that Mississippi had the most lynchings of any state in the United States of America, that it was used to terrorize black Southerners, and that this is one of the biggest stories of lynchings, right? This was one of the last major lynchings of the 20th century that made international news. So if we can't remember it, I mean, if that guy represents this area and wasn't even on his mind, right? Was so nonchalantly used the word lynching in a public statement that, we've still got a lot of work to do.
My husband and his family and the youth at that particular time, the black youth were told not to talk about it. You just had to act a certain way, don't ask any questions, okay? But the parents were in fear of that. What happened to Emmett would happen to their little boys. And that kind of inspires me and to keep me going. I don't think that history should be lost. And I think you're supposed to know your history, and I think it's important to understand what happened so that you don't make the mistakes of the past, so that you don't allow the system to stay the same, that you make changes in your own way, okay? Nonviolent, but know your rights and be able to stand up for them and stand up for something and stand out.
They're worried that you're readying for with your tanks and your guns.
I collect stuff and make it work.
What would you say to these black folks that are scared of you?
Boo. If they're that chicken shit, they deserve what they get. Now, if they're worried about, why are they worried about what I got parked in my yard unless they're going to attack me? If they're going to attack me, they're going to catch shit. I mean, more of it than they ever dreamed of. I'll get them and their damn mamas and daddies and kill them. If they're going to leave me alone and be a good, peaceful neighbor, well, they can come over and look at my stuff and maybe we'll go out and go play. But if they feel threatened, fuck them. Kill them, every goddamn one of them.
But I imagine 1955, Sheriff Strider could have easily said, a source of pride, look, we got the murderers off. And we're the free state of Tallahatchie, and we can do what we want. We don't need anybody from outside to tell us how to run our business. I might get run out for that statement.
We have a country to make great again, because it has certainly slid downward into the morass that it is now.
And this ginning process goes 24 hours a day. Once they stop, once they start up, they don't like to stop, because then you've got to crank all these machines up again. Like you say, it's a well-oiled system, and you don't want to have to keep restarting your gin and having a lot of problems with restarting everything, getting everything fine-tuned, because everything's got to be to the millisecond in tune with each other, or all that cotton piles up in one place, shuts the gin down. So it's very well timed process. But you see, here you've got a lot of trash in there. Doesn't quite look like. That's little pieces of leaf, piece of the hull, the cotton hull, and then of course the seed down in there. And that's a bugbear to get out, but it's not too bad. Those machines do it pretty readily. And then to separate all of this trash, gets separated, that gets blown out into the big pile down there, and you have nothing but the pure fiber.
He just unloaded.
of operation, so I have no doubt. Try to get the